We had a coach who basically didn't even want to come to work. The words of Amanda Staveley talking about Newcastle's ex-manager, Steve Bruce. We basically had a coach who didn't even want to come to work. Did you expect anything less? Yes guys, welcome back to a new video, and we do have a great one for you guys today. Amanda Staveley is out in Jeddah. I was going to say not for the F1, she'll probably watch a bit of that as well, but she is there for the Bloomberg's Power Player Summit, where power brokers, senior execs and world-class athletes have met together to discuss the shifts to the global sports business. And Amanda Staveley's spoken about a whole host of things, including buying Newcastle United, the prospect of owning multi-clubs within Newcastle United, how things have changed since she got there to how they are now, a couple of questions on the women's team, and even a little question about transfers, which she did try to skate around. But it's great, and I'm going to go through a bit of it with you guys today. So be sure to go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I mentioned it in the last video, and loads of you guys did, so I really appreciate it. We're just around the corner from 50,000 subscribers, which is crazy. It doesn't cost anything. It just means that you guys get notified whenever I post a video. So go ahead, hit that button, help me out. It will be very much appreciated. So Amanda Staveley started off really by talking about the fact that she did buy the club for what it was worth, and she said that she was quite open about it, actually, talking about how they had previously been in talks with Liverpool and had looked at other clubs, but they felt that the deal they got for Newcastle was right, with a big opportunity. She spoke about the fact that for the value and the plan they had, they knew they could make the club a success. She actually said that the plan they had was pretty much thrown out the window immediately, because they thought they knew what they had to do, but once they got in there, there needed to be dramatic changes. She said that they had, here we go, she said that they had an ageing squad that needed to be changed. She said that they had a coach who basically didn't even want to go to work. So there you go. You know, there's been obviously talk from our side on things. Up to now, the owners have been pretty complimentary of the situation, and you'd think that even he would realise it's his opportunity to really, you know, go for it, not to still be, as what some players have alluded to, that they were having holidays every other week and nobody was doing any running. So yes, Amanda then went to go on and say that they've made some great choices to build a great team. To now have Eddie Howe at the club is massive, and want to have people there who want to work hard and to inject life back into the club. I've no doubt behind the scenes, out on the field, and for the fans to enjoy it. She spoke about the fact that there was very unhappy Newcastle fans, and that was something that needed to be changed. She spoke about the incredible team, which presumably included Dan Ashworth, although there's rumours that it's coming to getting close to him potentially making the jump over to Manchester United. But yes, she kind of described the journey of kind of where they'd been, what they'd gone through, and he then asked her about transfers, and is there the possibility of seeing Newcastle put in some big bids this summer window? Well, Amanda was quite clever with that one, and once again said she couldn't really say, but these are some of the questions that were being asked, and I think were quite pressing. And obviously Amanda isn't going to come out and say yes, but I think you can tell through a lot of the reports already that Newcastle are clearly planning to go big this summer. There's talks of players like, you know, looking like Dummett's going to leave at the end of the season, Richie, you know, people that we possibly thought would have last season have, you know, kept that a little bit longer. Even Lascelles is looking like he could well go this summer. We're making space to hopefully fill it with a few players, but she did talk about the constraints and talked about FFP, and there was actually quite a good question about Premier League and how football is consumed and the business of the Premier League. She said that, and it's a funny one, isn't it? Because she said that there's obviously a lot of constraints. You can't just go in and just spend and make it as big as you want. The interviewer spoke about the comparison between the Premier League and the NHL, which is ice hockey. Personally, not a big, I don't know, I was going to say not a big fan. I've never really watched it. I could absolutely love it. Maybe I should try it. But talking about the comparisons of where does the Premier League and football kind of sit in that kind of money. You know, you think Premier League is, and he was going, it's about the same as ice hockey. And went on to say, you know, surely the Premier League should be generating far more money. There should be way more coming in. Amanda Staveley said, you know, there's kind of this, a lot of it's about sustainability. And because of that is potentially kind of stopped people overspending. Now, there's loads of different views on that, because as a Newcastle fan, you can go, screw it, we want to spend as much money as we want. But then again, is the idea of FFP to... It's a little bit muddled, isn't it? Because there was parts of the idea to stop the team spending, because you want every team to have a chance, don't you? There's so much to it. But I think she spoke about it being an entertainment business, and part of that is being blocked. Look at all these players go to Saudi Arabia. People are going to Saudi Arabia because you can get more money than you can in the Premier League. You can make more money going to a different league outside of the best league in the world and get paid more, which doesn't really work. So there's benefits and negatives to it, but a part of it is saying that they reckon it could be making way more, and as part of that, taking it away from Sky, taking it away from BT, and actually putting it on its own streaming platform, being able to watch 3 o'clock kickoffs, paying a £15 a month, because that's the thing, people are scaring away from paying £70, £100 a month for all these channels. Why doesn't the Premier League invest in its own product, have its own cameramen, have its own interviewers, have its own this, have its own that, and then get their own app, get their own stick, and charge a tenner a month? I'll tell you what, I'll pay for that. You know, so there's so much to do that. It costs investment, it costs organisation, and, you know, who's actually going to go out and do that? So there was that. I think I do find that quite interesting, and I do think in the next 10 to 15 years that will change. Personally, you can let me know if you think it will down below. I think it will be good for the fan to be able to do that. And that app, because Sky can only be sold in this country, that app could be worldwide. Australia, I was going to say New Zealand, Middle East, USA, like anywhere. This app, it's just an app. Just buy it. You get all the Premier League football. But then, are you leaving out the English football? Is that going to be... yeah. There's lots going on with that one. So let me know your thoughts on that down below. That's a whole video in itself. But she went on to talk a little bit about the women's team as well, talking about the success of the women's team and how she didn't expect it to kind of go from such strength to strength so quickly. She spoke about the amazing support that has been generated through the Newcastle fans having the chance to play at St James's Park and really getting some good eyes on that side of the game, which she was very, very proud of. And I think something else quite important that brought up was the multi-club. The multi-club. We've spoken about this a bit in videos previously, and Amanda Staveley was very, very open about it in this one, talking about the fact that they are seriously open. She actually said, if you remember a few months ago, that anybody buying a Premier League club now is looking at multi-club. They're looking at multi-club. That is something that really, anyone who's coming to... That was a question earlier on, was, is it a plaything, or is it seen as a business, and it's something to as an asset? And she said it's very much that. And if you are going to be looking to generate money and etc., you need to be looking at the options, and one of those is multi-club. So the idea with the multi-club, if you've not seen it, Man City are it, Red Bull are it, and it's having other... You can't buy 4 teams in the Premier League, but you can buy a team from Newcastle. In the words of Amanda Staveley, she's looked at Belgium, Austria, European teams, Australia... And the idea is that if we did have 4 other teams in those areas, train players, it's opening your net. Talk about scouts. Scouts just go to a few round, like we've got scouts in Europe and in Oz and whatever, go to games and watching. Or we could have our own academy there, and we could literally just hand select the players and go, right, they're really good. Let's move them up to the Belgian team for a few years. Oh, actually, they're amazing. Let's move them up to the Newcastle side. And it's one thing to have local lads from the area that we all want to see, but imagine having a net across the whole of the world. I was going to say the country, the world. Pushing and pulling them in those directions. And it sounds like Amanda Staveley is very much looking into that as well. So if you are interested in watching the whole interview, it is 20 minutes long. I will put the link down in the description below. It's pretty good, and it's nice to see. I think possibly if Amanda had been doing that for Newcastle TV, would have possibly felt the eyes were on her a little bit more. I'm sure she knows the Newcastle fans by now will get hold of any interviews done, but it's a good watch, so maybe you could go check it out. I've covered some of the main points there. A lot of the other stuff was kind of going into maybe just like sport and finance in general, but there was definitely some nuggets of Newcastle information. I think giving a bit of a back, giving one back to Steve Bruce was one to hear, and then I think the idea of how football is watched and how Newcastle are looking to grow is definitely one to watch as well. Alright guys, thanks for watching as always. Hope you have enjoyed this video. Drop a like, subscribe if you haven't already. Plenty more videos on its way. Enjoy your evening, and I'll catch you later.